Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilbourn. Very pleased to say I am joined now by wrestler, Olympian, former world champion, Hall of Famer, all-round legend, and soon to be my best friend, Mark Henry. Mark, thank you so much for taking time to chat to me today.
Hey man, it's a good time all the time.
Very excited with what I mentioned there because you and I are going on tour in March all over the UK with Sweet Chin Disco, the wrestling themed club night. We're going to be starting off in Manchester on Friday, the 21st of March, and then following that, Saturday, Sunday, Monday in Belfast, Nottingham, and Glasgow, and then the Friday following that, when SmackDown comes to London, we'll be there too. And then we'll be in Birmingham on Saturday, the 29th as well. Sweet Chin Disco, as I've mentioned before, loads of fun. If you want to join us, dice.fm, just search for Sweet Chin Disco on there. Mark, I'll be honest, when Sam first mentioned about you joining us, because, we've been lucky enough to have the likes of Prince Nana and Swerve and Mercedes Moné, who joined us in our show in London over the summer. I assumed it was going to be maybe a sort of on-stage interview with you, or maybe just a sort of guest appearance, and then like a meet and greet. But no, you are going to be DJing. I've subsequently seen these amazing clips of you going viral and just smashing it, basically. How did this all come together with you and DJing and just showing off your talents?
Man, I've always had a lot of interest. A lot of people don't know that I'm a busybody. I can't stay still. One of the reasons why I was such a good athlete and a world champion in three things that have absolutely nothing to do with each other is because I'm willing to dedicate every single second that I'm not actively doing something to whatever it is to get better at something else. And I'm a well-established cook. I DJ. I do comedy. I'm doing two radio shows on two different networks on iHeart and SiriusXM, and I run a wrestling company all at the same time. So uh, I sleep, but not very much.
So, yeah, how did this come together? Who was the first person to say, "Do you fancy DJing this club night?" Was it just?
No, I reached out to some guys out of Canada called Remix Rumble. And I said, man, I love the fact that y'all cater to wrestling fans. And, like that seems like a real cool gig. Um, I'd love to come and check it out. And so we talked on Instagram for a little while, and then finally we exchanged numbers. And I was going to Canada, and came and had breakfast with me, and we sat there and chatted it up, and said, "Hey man, we need to do something together." And next thing you know, five DJ shows later, um, we performed at WrestleMania uh, twice. We performed uh, three other accounts just at random shows, and it's been a lot of fun. Like, I really like those guys, and I enjoy, you know, doing the entertainment side of DJ.
Love seeing the reaction when you play your own theme as well there.
Yeah, and I think there might be a little fireside chat. We might be able to sit down on the stage before and talk to people for a few minutes, and um, then when the time is right, like we turn the lights down and start the smoke, and you know get the music going.
I have already pitched to Sam that I'm more than happy to wear a salmon jacket for the tour, but we'll see how that one
Come on, man, come on. That's gimmick infringement. That's
plays.
You can't steal my gimmick.
Yeah, absolutely not. So you've been, you've showcased your DJing talents as many people will have seen online in these videos. You've been in various locker rooms. Who's got the best and the worst music taste from what you remember?
Oh my God, the best and the worst. It depends on if you're musically biased. Like
Mm.
I'm not musically biased. I listen to country music. I listen to rock and roll. I listen to rap. I listen to soul. I would listen to jazz and blues. And um, yeah, I'm not big a Zydeco fan, but I still can listen to it without saying turn that shit off. You know, but like music is more of a just a preference thing, and one of the ways to be able to get along with people is to know what makes them tick. And I just have a chameleon type of
Mm.
um, eclectic taste of music, so I could pretty much listen to anything.
Now, one of the things I really enjoy at Sweet Chin Disco is the passion that the fans bring and the way they react when we play themes. Other than your own, what is your sort of go-to wrestling theme, either to fill the dance floor or to really hype you up?
I walk alone.
Yes.
Man, I hear Batista music, I lose my mind.
The old
Yeah, do the double guns. Like man, it's that's a hell of an entrance right there. And not only the entrance, but just the music. Um, it just fires you up. I don't know. It's kind of like my daughter was in the car with me the other day on her way to wrestling practice, and she um, um, she said, I wanted you to hear this." And then she put the Bluetooth off and put it on my truck, and she's listening to my theme to get fired up to go to wrestling practice.
yes.
And I was like, "This is a good kid right here, a good kid. She's gonna be ready."
Yes. And I saw recently Cody Rhodes talking about your son Jacob being a future star as well.
Yeah, he's gonna be a good one. I think that anybody that follows him on social media or whatever, you see that Jacob is not shy. Jacob is one of the more talented people. I went on TikTok the other day because a clip from Busted Open was out there, and an alert came up, and it was Jacob has it's called Big Hen, like Big Henry, but Big Hen. And he was doing karaoke, singing um, like a Teddy Swim song or something. And I'm like, I knew he's been in a band, a lead singer in a band, an R&B band for like 7, 8 years. And I didn't know he was still singing with all of the wrestling and pro wrestling stuff that he's interested in, and now he's gonna go back and play football again. I was like, when the time? But I guess he's a lot like me. He
Yeah,
burns the candle
exactly.
at both ends.
Now it is, of course, Rumble season, Mark. I believe you competed in 10 or so Rumbles in your career.
Yeah,
First of all, what's it like to be in one of those sorts of matches? Because as a fan, it's just chaos. I can only imagine what it's like trying to plan.
that's exactly the word that I was finna say. I was like, it's just chaotic. Just getting in there and uh, you hear the music and people are coming in, and it's pretty good when there's only about 4 people in there. But when there's like 10 or 15, it's just like, oh my God, like stop hitting me. Like you're always trying to actively stay busy and do something and try to throw somebody out. And it don't always work because it's just a big cluster muck.
Hmm. Yeah, we've been going back and forth here at WhatCulture for quite some time because in previous years, Yeah, been pretty getting decent chances on backing Cody Rhodes. He's obviously not in this year's Rumble, and the Women's Royal Rumble barely has anyone announced for it at time of recording. So who have you got? Who's your picks for 2025?
I would think that the best option for women would be Charlotte Flair and Jade Cargill, the last
Mm.
two in, and um, either one of them winning, but the other one coming after them afterwards,
Yeah, I like
just
that a
to
lot.
establish a new story and bring them both back to mainstream. Um, in the men, uh, it would be hard to argue with having CM Punk win and finally get his WrestleMania main event.
Mm.
To be able to challenge for the title and have that moment where you hear CM Punk's music in the main event at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on those. And I'm really excited to see, more of the NXT talent as well, hoping to see them make some appearances in the Royal Rumbles, because especially because we've seen the development of some of the people they've brought through. Obviously, as I mentioned, you're a former Olympian who came into wrestling, um, and you see that now with this next in line program, and especially people who've caught my eye recently are your Tiffany Strattons, former gymnast who's become a world champion now, and talk about NXT world champion right now, Obafemi. What do you make of people like that? And what do you think is that as a strategy of utilizing people like yourself who've got this athletic background but haven't necessarily put their focus on pro wrestling?
You know what? I think that now that their focus is pro wrestling, um, it's a benefit to the business. It's a benefit to them. And, when you talk about the culture of wrestling, you want beautiful bodies. You want people that take a lot of pride in how hard they work to hone their craft, and that's what high level athletes do.
Hmm.
They don't want to rest on the fact that here I made it, I'm here. No, they want to evolve and expand on what is going to make them the best person that ever was. And like when your greatness barometer is being a world champion, like Mark Henry or Steve Austin, The Rock, or something, then there's a different level of work that goes into it. There's a different level of commitment that goes into it. And a lot of these young people have decided that this is my way to superstardom.
Hmm.
And, I'm going to put all I got into it.
Yeah, you see the likes of Bron Breakker, who's already got, an IC title to his name, and he's not resting on his laurels.
No. And it's not going to help you to rest on your laurels. Like to be great, you have to make yourself available to the company almost 24 hours a day. Oh, there's this 5 o'clock meet up to go do the news at 6 a.m. I'll do it.
Mm.
You got to volunteer. They got the children's hospital visit, the kids, sick kids. I'll make it. I'll be there. Like you have to continue to up the ante constantly. All the radio media. We had Pretty Deadly on my radio show this morning. Like you got to be the one to go and take the initiative to get the attention of the company and let them know, hey, whatever it is, I'm ready to go because I want my chance. I want my opportunity. I'm gonna earn it. I'm not asking you for anything. I'm trying to earn it.
Very
When
clear.
you get there, it's over.
Nice to see that your time spent with Pretty Deadly hasn't put you off going to the UK. So I know those boys are quite the characters, but I'll only love here from all of us here at What Culture feel pretty deadly. What's some of your because as fans, obviously, we think of yourselves and we think of the amazing moments in Royal Rumbles. As a wrestler, what are some of your favorite Rumble moments? Is it the same things we look at as fans, or is it more as a worker that you look at it of like what a brilliant way of laying out? Whether it be, a double elimination or just a spectacular moment.
I like the well attended battle royals where you have all of the stars in it.
Mm.
And there's a lot of
Yeah.
stars in this one. And I like the photo finishes where, both people go out and who hit the ground first, or, catching the ropes and dangling around. Oh no. And then you finally save yourself and you slide back under and somebody comes running and you duck down and backdrop them and they take the bump and it's the last guy in. Like, I love all of it. Like, how you get to the exciting points is what I really like the most. The setup.
Mm.
Like, when I see a setup happening, and then they always, a lot of times they swerve you. It's the setup is gonna do this. Oh no. And I'm like, yeah, you got me. You got me.
Yeah, it's I mean most wrestling fans' favorite night of the year, the Rumble, because it's so unpredictable from not only winners and eliminations, but yeah, surprises and lots to look forward to for this year's event. Switching our attention to AEW, obviously you spent some time there over the past few years. A lot of talk over the past few months about this sort of state of AEW, and I know recently you've had your say on one of your favorites, Powerhouse Hobbs. What do you think about the way AEW is heading right now, following your time there? And because there's a lot of discussion about what they're doing right and possibly what they're doing wrong.
Well, I pray that they do better by the storytelling and they do better by the organization.
Hmm.
Like, organizing what's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen, who is gonna be involved, and sticking to the plan. And then you tell the story over a long period of time that makes people really want to be invested. And when you switch and change and you deviate from the plan because somebody is unhappy that they're not the star of the show, it ruins everything.
Hmm.
Oh, and there's a old term used here: you can't let the prisoners run the prison.
Hmm.
And I think that a lot of that is going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that definitely. I think I think fans, uh, it's difficult to judge, obviously, with the various different reports you hear about what's really going on. But yeah,
There's no condemnation on the talent.
no, 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 no.
There's no disrespect to the writers, uh, and there's no love loss or hatred toward Tony Khan.
No, no, no.
Um, I just want things to be better because I want them to succeed because pro wrestling needs them.
Mm,
Like, we need the outlets. We need all the companies. I want there to be more companies. I'm at All Caribbean, and we are not an indie company. We're a pro wrestling company. Like, we're going to put on really good shows and great matches because it's going to be established the way it was when I was a kid. I want wrestling to go back to the old Broadway entertainment style of wrestling. And that takes skill and it takes a level of sacrifice of get out of your own head and let the fans have what they want.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing it's very easy, I think, for fans certainly to sit there and say that it should do this and this. But I think that the difficulty comes, I've seen many people talking about the Death Riders and John Moxley and the world title and right, well, now Kenny Omega's back, do you switch it immediately or do you seemingly stick around and save for the payoff against, let's say, a Darby Allin? I do think that there is a sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't, because like you say, you talk about long-term storytelling. This has clearly been set up for something like that. But with the rise of your Ospreys and your Omegas, it's a difficult position for AEW to be in.
It is, and deciding on where you're going doesn't like the title is important, but you can't make the entire show's value be based on one match.
Yes.
Every night, the women's match has got to mean something. The tag match has to mean something. A grudge match between two people that wrestled last month, and I'm just not happy with the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Let's run that back. Like I want, like you gotta have a variety in every show, and when you get that, people are more like, oh man, they leaning in. They want to see what's going to happen next. I keep hearing people going, man, the show is so long.
Mm-hmm.
And they're leaning back and they're ready for this to be over. So something else, like you got to be able to captivate and keep the attention and do what the fans want to see done. And, that's kind of the main problem.
And we saw it arguably this week, the Hurt Syndicate capturing the AEW Tag Gold got a phenomenal reaction.
Yeah. Change is good, but it's only good when it matters.
Yeah.
Like you got to have a reason for it to go to another thing.
Mm.
And they did a good job with that one.
You're also in attendance recently for a friend of both of ours, I'd like to say, Joe Hendry winning the TNA title. He obviously came on your show as well to talk immediately afterwards. What do you make of someone like Joe, who's really just, carved out his own niche and look at where it's gotten him in 2025?
To be honest, Joe should have been champion 3 months ago. Like 3 months ago, he was at a Rock, Stone Cold type of level where everything was revolving around him, and then they missed the boat. And they recaptured that energy this past week, but you can't go back in time. At least as far as I know, they haven't invented a time machine yet. If they do, I don't know if I want to get in it, because if it breaks, whoo. But nonetheless, I only like change when it's warranted, and I think that Dolph Ziggler was able to recapture that energy, and they were able to take that on and have a really, really good match and entertain the hell out of everybody.
Yeah, fantastic to see. And Joe's someone who's, as I say, set for a huge 2025. Everyone's pick really for a surprise appearance in the Rumble, along with, Jordan Grace as well. They've got some great talent in TNA. This partnership with WWE is really exciting.
Yeah, wrestling in the UK has produced some really unbelievable talent, especially now. I grew up in the time of watching Les Kelly, watching the Thames, Benny Hill, and during that time, like that was entertaining to me because it was physical comedy, and there was elements of what wrestling is in that kind of that style. I just want to see more now of the European style
Hmm.
come to fruition, and I think it is.
Final question for you, Mark. I know you've got a great deal of history. We alluded to the salmon jacket earlier with John Cena. It's his final year in wrestling. What do you think about the career that he's had? And the ultimate question, should he win one more world title?
Ooh, I'm very proud of his career. I know he should be, but if you're John Cena, you want to hold the title the most times anybody's ever held it in its existence, and I think he deserves to have that.
I'm tempted to agree. It's going to be a very exciting year for him in WWE, and we are very excited to catch you on tour. As I mentioned at the beginning, if you want, I can't believe I'm saying this as a sentence. If you want to join me and Mark Henry on tour, just head to dice.fm and search for Sweet Chin Disco for all those dates at the end of March, basically following the WWE as they do their tour ahead of WrestleMania. Mark, it's been a pleasure to chat to you as always.
Likewise,
I
man.
will see you in March.
Yeah, I'll see you in March. We're gonna kill it every day. Every day, new audience, and we're gonna give them what they want.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
All right, man.